Let me tell you one of the most well-known tales of Welsh folklore, the legend of Gelert. The Welsh have told many tales of heroes and fantastic creatures. Gelert's story is a tragedy about a loyal dog, set in the rustic village of Beddgelert in Wales. It's a timeless story about the bond between a man and a dog, while also showing us the consequences of a rush decision. Deep in the heart of Snowdonia, surrounded by tall mountains and lush valleys, lies the village of Beddgelert, which means Gelert's grave, the legend of Prince Llewelyn and his loyal dog. Gelert were born here in the 13th century, and they're a key part of the village's identity. Back then, Prince Llewelyn ruled the kingdom of Gwynedd, and Beddgelert was an important spot in it. Life in medieval Wales revolved around nature, which is why many of the tales and legends they pass down centered around nature. And before we get into the story, let's meet the characters. Prince Llewelyn the Great was a famous ruler of Wales from 1195 to 1240. He was known to be a skilled leader and warrior, but also a patron of culture and the arts. His rule and influence had a huge impact on Wales's medieval history, and he kept a delicate relationship with neighboring English territories. In the legend of Gelert, Llewelyn is shown as a loving and loyal father who deeply loved his faithful hound. But the story also shows his flaws and demonstrates how even a great leader can make poor, impulsive decisions. Llewelyn's actions in the story remind us all that we're capable of both deep love but also costly mistakes. He's a complex and relatable character. His dog, Gelert, though, has a more tragic ending. The original tale doesn't specify his breed, but he's often depicted as an Irish Wolfhound. Gelert was more than just Llewelyn's pet, but also a loving companion who was a protector to the prince's heir. He has the traits of faithfulness, bravery, and fearlessness. And through his loyalty, we see the deep bond of trust between him and Llewelyn. Gelert is a hero, which makes his tragic ending all the more heartbreaking. The story itself starts on a beautiful sunny morning, when Prince Llewelyn goes hunting in the nearby forest. He leaves his baby at home with his loyal dog, Gelert, but while he's gone, a wolf sneaks into the house and attacks the baby. When Llewelyn comes back, he sees Gelert with blood on his mouth and assumes that his dog had harmed the child. In his grief, he kills Gelert, but Llewelyn later finds his baby safe and the wolf dead. Realizing that Gelert had actually protected the baby, the prince is filled with remorse and regret for what he had done. It's a tale that resonates throughout time, and the story's legacy is clearly seen. In the village of Beddgelert, there is a stone monument that marks where Gelert is said to be buried. People visit Gelert's grave to remember and honor the loyal dog's sad fate. But it represents more than just one man's or one dog's story. The grave symbolizes strong courage in the face of death, undying loyalty, and the bond between humans and animals. Many tourists flock to the site to see the grave, which brings money to the village, while also preserving its cultural heritage. As people pass through, they reflect on the lessons from this tale and how it teaches people to trust, to understand, and think before we act. Gelert's legacy lives on through this simple gravesite and still touches the hearts of those who hear about his tragic end. These themes of forgiveness, loyalty, and bravery are relatable to people from many different backgrounds and generations, which is why the story continues to be popular in Welsh culture today. Even though the story takes place in medieval Wales, its lesson on value, trust, companionship, and deep connections with others resonate with many around the world. They are important lessons in a world that often values speed and judgment over careful decision-making. The legend of Gelert teaches us to stop and think before we act, and to consider the consequences of our actions. It helps us with moral behavior and emotional intelligence, which is one of the reasons the story is still so popular today.